As we were editing, I became conscious of the fact that we had far more material than we could ever use. And I did make the argument during that time that perhaps we could push the running time of Forgotten Silver out to a short feature length. But really it was just too hard and there wasn't enough money. So unfortunately we had to drop quite a few scenes. Now, it's probably all to the good, it's always a good idea to only use your best material. But at the same time, I was sorry that we dropped little bits and pieces, and there were some quite nice interviews shot that never saw the light of day, and some characters that were never seen. And it's a good opportunity in a DVD such as this to have a look at what might have been.
It's a great pity we haven't got any of Colin's early films, because by all accounts they were great records of domestic life on the farm and church picnics and the everyday life and the community he was living in. I mean, all we've got left is this piece of film now, which is quite sad, really.
In 1902, a travelling picture showman had an accident with his wagon, seized axle and broken wheel, and Albert Drury was called in to do the repairs. Now the picture showman was very short of cash, and he offered to give goods in exchange for the work done on his wagon, and what he gave Albert Drury, Colin's uncle, was a roll of Kodak film. To Colin, it was El Dorado. It was the film that the professionals used. There wasn't very much of it, just a few minutes worth, and so he made up his mind that he would save it until he had something really dramatic.
Right, buddy. Set. So, Johnny, what do you reckon the chances are of us finding this bloody place?
Well, we've been out, I don't know, a day and a half. We've checked a couple of possible locations already, and they really haven't turned up anything. I'm sort of a bit worried whether we actually are going to find anything after the time in the bush. And I hope we do, but it's not looking too good at the moment.
And if we... Mark. Set.
Well, Jim, what do you reckon our chances are of finding this city?
Might be there, might not. You've seen a lot, but there's a lot to see. I don't think your chances are good. You know, about level with finding a mower.
Mark? Yeah, I will hold it too. Yeah, that's... Okay, mate. Yep, set.
So how did you guys come across this story?
Well, I mean, if you look at the history books and various film references, there are vague mentions of Colin Mackenzie, but then he's kind of lost in amongst a group of other pioneer filmmakers.
Yeah, you hear things, you talk to someone who's talked to someone else, you find a little reference here, the footnote in someone else's journal.
I mean, the biggest breakthrough, I guess, was finding Hannah, who was married to Colin for just over a couple of weeks, but during that time she learned a lot about his life before he went off to the war.
In the city, how do you expect to get the remnants back to civilization?
Well, I don't think we can get the city back.
First, really,
if we find the city, then this is a national park, and hopefully it would become part of the feature of the national park.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully the government would have enough sense to kind of like to clear it up and to make it like a tourist attraction. I mean, it would be an amazing tourist attraction if it existed. Could cut a road into it, or it would just become a feature.
We want to find something near, just kind of proof that really that he existed. That we want to find things like the sets. He might have stored film.
Well, the more I think about it,
Hannah talked about that, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Crypt thing. She thinks that he might have left some film under there. Well, it might be in one piece.
I mean, our biggest hope is that somewhere up here we're going to find some remains of the city, because Salome is a project that you hear references of. It's very little has ever been written about it, and no footage survives. There's like 12 or 15 stills, and now if we can actually find physical evidence that this thing existed, then this is a remarkable achievement. I mean, for somebody,
this guy so long, we just want to sort of see something real.
For somebody to build a city up here, like by himself, during the First World War, when everybody else was off fighting, this guy was building a biblical city. I mean, it's incredible.
So what do you think the chances are of finding the
vines grow.
Well, we're still optimistic. I mean, we've got photographic reference from some stills that we have of Salome. You can see like the skyline, the hill line, and we're looking out just hoping that we're going to get a match, which is a bit of a long shot because all the hills look the same around here.
It's a lot of wet. I mean, we've got to do this. I mean, we've been chasing this guy, 2 years now?
Yeah.
Just on and on.
I mean, now, the biggest hope is that he built this thing out of some materials like plaster or concrete or something, so that there's some remains. And we'll just keep on plugging. We've only got another day or two that we can go, and then we'll just have to come back next year, I guess, if we don't find it in this strip. And the problem is too that nobody actually is alive. Well, we haven't found anybody who's still alive who worked on this film. I mean, they would be in their 90s, well into their 90s now, and I mean, it is possible they'd be alive, but we certainly haven't found them. So we're into a situation where we're going on memories of children of people that worked on the film, and they obviously don't know the exact location of this place, and so we are kind of just going for it and hoping for the best, I guess.
European South Islanders had a deep fear of Chinese people, the otherness of Chinese people. It frightened them to see how different these people looked, how differently they spoke, how their whole lives seemed to operate from a different basis. So it wasn't just that they were in competition, they actually confronted the Chinese as aliens from another world.
Yeah, Colin Mackenzie 待我哋啲唐人好好嘅，就知道我哋咧啲唐人嘅種族，佢好崇拜我哋啲唐人嘅禮，我哋永遠咧記得佢。
Well, Colin Mackenzie was hoping, of course, for great commercial success with this innovative idea of a talking picture. It didn't happen. It could only play in one cinema because they had to build the theater around the sound equipment. It was so cumbersome. But then in later years, as sound equipment became portable, people would take it like a road show from village to village, and I'm told it's still being played that way throughout the remotest, farthest reaches of China.
Colin Mackenzie hadn't gone to Spain to fight, but in a sense he was fighting, not for any political or religious ideology, but for something more profound. He discovered a passion greater than filmmaking. It was an idea, a concept of freedom and democracy. Fascism represented the crushing of artistic expression. Colin tried to use film to promote and protect the most fundamental of principles, the respect of human life and dignity. Millions of people around the world saw his work. Not one of them knew his name, but all were touched by the images he captured.